Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we are talking about our last division strategy, which is hops on a number line. This is also a multiplication strategy we've been using where we start at the beginning of the number line and bounce up to our answer. Today it's going to look a little bit different, and I am excited to show you what that looks like. First of all, let's talk about what is division. Division is when we have fair share and we divide a number into equal parts. Woo, we went too quick. There we go. Division is the opposite of multiplication. So that is why when we are doing all of these strategies, we are doing them in an opposite way. Today, we're going to be doing this strategy completely opposite of how we normally do it. We typically bounce up the number line by equal hops. Today, we are starting at the answer, the total, and bouncing back to zero. This is so cool. So I'm excited to show you what that looks like. Back to what division is. Division is fair share. When you share something equally, when you take a big number and split it up into equal parts. If we were going to share a pie with certain people, we would want to make sure everybody got equal slices. We want it to be fair. If it's not fair, then it's not equal division. And we are dealing with equal division. We have to have equal groups every time, equal rows, equal hops, the same number repeated when we subtract. So we have to make sure that it's equal and fair every single time, okay? So hops on a number line, you start at the answer. So with 15 divided by 3, we're going to start at 15 and hop down the number line, okay? We're hopping down by the second number, which is 3. So each hop, I count back 1, 2, 3 spaces, and that's my first hop. My second hop would go back 3 more spaces, 1, 2, 3. And then my next hop would go back 3 more spaces, 1, 2, 3. And kind of like with repeated subtraction, how you keep subtracting until you get to 0, we're going to keep hopping by the same number until we get to 0. So here we're starting at 15, we're hopping back by 3 until we get to 0. And you might be wondering, well, is the answer 0? Is it 15? What is the answer? The answer is the number of hops. Just like with repeated subtraction, how many times did it take for us to subtract to get there? With hops on the number line, how many hops did it take us to get to 0? So it's the exact same thing as repeated subtraction, except on a number line, okay? We are just hopping backwards by 3. And then we count the number of hops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my answer would be 5. And a good way to check this would be to say, does 5 times 3 equal 15? And it does, so that makes sense. All right, we have a number line here. We have 18 divided by 6. So the first thing we're going to do is find 18 on our number line. 18 is right here on our number line, and this is where we're going to start the hops, okay? We are not counting the tick marks. We are counting the spaces, and we are hopping backwards, not forwards, by 6. So that's the difference. With multiplication, we hop up the number line. With division, we hop down the number line. So we are hopping down the number line today. It is very important to draw your arrows going that way instead of going up the number line, because we're going down. And if I see your arrows going down the number line, then I know that that is repeated subtraction for division, because your answer is getting smaller. Remember, when you divide, your answer is going to be a much smaller number than your big number. With multiplication, your answer is going to be very big. It means to get big when you multiply. But we are dividing today, so our answer is getting smaller. So we're starting at 18, which is right here, our starting point. And then we're going to bounce backwards. We're going to hop back down the number line by 6. So I'm going to count the spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my first hop should be from 18 to 12 going this way. Pay attention to the arrow, how it's pointing down the number line, because we're hopping down the number line. We're not hopping up. Next, I'm going to count down 6 more because I'm not to 0 yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that next hop is going to land on 6. Also, you could do 12 minus 6, and that tells you what it should land on. Lastly, we're going to do our final hop, which is 6 minus 6. Once you get to this number, it should be the same as the number you're subtracting, which is 6, the same number of how many of what you're doing in the hops. So 6 to 0 is our last hop. And then our answer is not 0, it's not 18, it's not 6, it's how many hops are there. It took us 1, 2, 3 hops to get to 0. So that is how you do hops on a number line for division. You're hopping down the number line. We're basically subtracting the second number again and again until we get to 0, just like repeated subtraction, except without the subtracting part, and we are hopping instead. Remember to draw your arrows going down the number line. Remember, we are hopping to 0. We're not starting at 0. And remember, your hops should all be equal. If your hops are not equal and if they don't land on 0, then you did something wrong. Okay?